Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television from the Political Command Center in London. Thank you very much. Good morning across the continent of Africa. We are late by 34 minutes past the hour 9 o'clock, and which is 11:34 in Nairobi and 11:34 in West Africa. Sorry, 9:34 in West Africa and 10:34 in Southern Africa, Central African time. This show is brought to you by Dr. David Masanga in conjunction with Miriam Ogutu in Nairobi, Kenya, on Punchline Africa TV. And today we have got an in-house guest who will be packing it and unpacking it for us in one way or the other, apart from ourselves. The show then presents a number of difficulties that Africa faces. But before we come to the show, I would like my colleague in Nairobi, Miriam Ogutu, to do the housekeeping operations of telling us the African news, and where possible, where has the reconciliation occurred in London, in the UK, where the king has reconciled with the son, and that is prompted me to say, can that happen elsewhere in Africa, so that we can heal the wounds that have put us together and put us apart. Remember, wounds put us together. When you suffer together. And then you part differently together. You part. You come together because the wound is paining you. But you also suffer together as the wound pains you. But you can also part as the wound is not yet healed. It begins afresh. Miriam, over to you. Welcome to the show, Elivas Wanda from Nairobi. Let's back to Miriam in Nairobi. Thank you.
Very well, thank you so much. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in and joining us today. The date being the 13th of April 2023, and here are the latest headlines from Africa and outside of Africa. We start with those papers from Kenya. The Standard newspaper, Raila's Untold Secrets, that is what we have as the main headline. The Daily Nation, Raila's agent spills the beans on boss laws. And then Zambia rules out maize export deal and talks. Azimio warns of return to mass action. They vow to resume street protests if rivals frustrate their demands. Very well. And the Star newspaper, cost of living, Raila opts for new strategy. Azimio planning town hall meetings and rallies to run concurrently with talks. That story is inside the Star newspaper. The Business Daily, KQ risks losing millions to Boeing for planes deposit. And then the People Daily, how Treasury plans to revive a slow economy. And Taifa Leo, our leading newspaper in Kiswahili, which is our national language. Plan B, ya Raila, that is what we have there. And then some newspapers from across the continent. We do have so much today, even from the US. Our media guy is doing a fantastic job there. The Herald from Zimbabwe, $500 million kitty for drug abuse fight. The Daily News, government homing in on exam cheats. And as cabinet approves draft law to lift school standards. The Nation, Obi lacks right to contest my victory, Tinubu tells tribunal. The Citizen from Tanzania, fertilizer prices set to drop next season. That is music to the ears of Tanzanian farmers. I'm sure Kenyan farmers would like to hear that as well. The Sun from Namibia, a sow pins bail hopes on poor health. The Namibian as well from Namibia, a mother's courage. Heavily pregnant mom saves son from crocodile jaws. And then the New Times from Rwanda, over Rwandan francs, 10 billion earmarked for renovation of survivors' homes. Most of the housing units in question were constructed between 1994 and 2012. And I think that is one aspect of what we're going to look at today in a redemption strategy there. Rwanda is trying to construct homes for the people who were affected during the genocide. The main headline there is Kagame energy access crucial for Africa's economic growth. The Daily Monitor from Uganda, among plan to return 500 iron sheets stalls. Okay, so we have that there, and then we go to the UK. The Sun. The king was there for you, so sad you cannot make it for him. I think that is directed to Meghan, who is set to miss the coronation. The Daily Mail, no one will ever admit it, but they will be signing with relief at the palace. Harry's blink and you will miss it coronation visit. The Daily Telegraph, Harry's place at coronation sparks hope of royal truce. The Times as well from the UK, British lives at risk from US secret leak, that's according to members of parliament. The Daily Express, King's relief, Harry will be there. The Guardian, Biden pledges $6 billion investment if Stormont power sharing restored. And The Independent, how can you ignore us now, Mr. Sunak? All right. The Wall Street from the US. Inflation hits lowest levels since 2021. USA Today as well from the US. Majority support 10 protest. Louisville's closeness compounds its anguish. The New York Times. EPA seeks rules to pump up sales of electrical cars. And then several other sub-headlines there. And The Guardian from the UK, Harvard to rename school after top Republican donor following $300 million gift. The New York Post from the UK, from the US, exit stage left. New Yorkers look to flee over crime cost progressive policies. And that is what we have in some of the headlines from Kenya, Africa, and indeed others leading newspapers across the globe. Doc, back to you.
Thank you very much, Miriam Ogutu. Thank you very much, listeners, those who have been listening to the news headlines across the world. We have picked in the United States, we have picked in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Africa, regional news, and in Kenya. As usual, we shall not, if you feel there is a topic that you can touch, you can bring it up in our discussion. And follow us, follow everybody who has this tagged you. Tag yourselves. Also watch us on Twitter. If you have a Twitter handle, just go to Matsanga Doctor. You will find our Twitter still rolling, and that this discussion is there right now. Also follow Wanda Eliphas on Twitter handle, and everybody that we should be starting to tag our celebs and tag other people to listen to these conversations, because it looks like the Twitter has become the most efficient way of communication. So tag yourself, tag everybody on Twitter, let people listen to your conversation. From Punchline Africa Television, I am Dr. David Matsanga, right from London, in the political command center of this organization. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is The Bold Step. I want to make a bold step tonight, tomorrow, today, depending on where you are in Australia. You might be saying tonight. In America, they are saying good morning. It's about morning in America. In Africa, it's already morning. In Europe, it's morning. The bold step today is Africa can make better use of a redemption strategy. What is a redemption strategy therefore? A redemption strategy is, and the first thing on redemption strategy is a mechanism, is a strategy to bring about warring parties, parties that have been warring, fighting, quarreling, disagreements. You need to bring back that hope. If there was a war, if there was earthquake, if there was tsunami, you must bring back lives. I hear of so many people across the continent of Africa, and I believe from the time now, we better now record this as a takeaway. I hear from every source in Africa. I hear from every source worldwide. I hear people of banditry. People talk about banditry. People talk about terrorists. People talk about wars, conflicts in Congo. But there is one thing that makes a conflict go away. And that one thing, one strategy, and only one strategy can make the conflict if you try to utilize it and use it efficiently. And that strategy is called a redemption strategy. What is a redemption strategy, therefore? A redemption strategy is truth. The key word in redemption strategy is truth. Truth. If you are coming on the table and you don't have the truth, don't come. If you are coming on the table and you don't have the truth to tell the mediator that this is my truth, don't come. Decide on what you want to do. In the conflict resolution, redemption strategy, key word is the truth. After the truth has been said, the second key word in a redemption strategy is reconciliation. If you don't want, after telling the truth, you don't want to tell and say, I'm sorry. In the reconciliation comes, I'm sorry, remorseful. I killed your sister. I killed your children. I now want you to forgive me. Reconciliation. From reconciliation, you have seen the word that flows next, forgiveness. The forgiveness, therefore, is the word that runs along, because you forgive, the truth comes out, reconcile, forgive. Now we are going in the stages, and the people listening to this clip and this video, you will quote Rwanda. What happened in Rwanda? Genocide took place. People stood up, killed each other. But the Rwanda government, the government of Rwanda, decided to bring what we call the Gacaca courts. Alternative means of justice. Alternative justice system, where people came up to say the truth, reconcile, forgive. And after forgiveness, there comes a keyword. There comes a keyword. You have said you killed. You have said, I'm sorry. You are now said, forgive me. The key word that comes next is accountability. You can't do accountability without telling the truth. You can't do accountability without reconciliation. You can't do accountability without forgiveness. You must have accountability. Neither can you have peace after this word. If you don't do the other four, the fifth word will be useless. Agenda number 4. Have you heard of agenda number 4? Most of you watching this in Kenya. In 2007, Kofi Annan did what we call a redemption strategy. Long-term truth-telling, yes, we had problems. We did not plan for it. People died. But there was agenda number 4. As you sit today in your sofa set, in your seat, in your office, remember Kofi Annan is dead, he's gone. But agenda number 4, everybody talked about agenda number 4, but people thought there were mad people like Matsanga. What does he mean by agenda number 4? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to make a conclusion. Miriam will make a conclusion because that is her country. My country. We did agenda number 4. I'm proud. It's up to you, Miriam. And it's up to you, Eliphas. Did you do agenda number 4? Look at it. Where are we today? Accountability is the most important thing. You cannot look out to look, down look, accountability. In the process of South Sudan, as a teacher, lecturer, no, I'll touch comparative analysis. South Sudan hurriedly planned a political redemption strategy. It never worked. It's not working. It might not work. Because we left key number 4, kifunguo ya 4. Key number 4 in any redemption strategy is accountability. It's once you have truth, you must have accountability. You must have reconciliation. You must have forgiveness. 4 tenets. Then we move to the last. The one major. That is a product of the 4. I'm teaching now. Is there anybody listening? The product of the 4. Restitution or reparations. Which we could call matunda ya uhuru. Matunda ya revolution. Matunda ya kupigana. The fruits of fighting. The misery of fighting. Because you are not reparating people who are happy. Are you? Are you returning the people, IDPs, who are happy? When a war has taken place, you return IDPs that are happy? Did the Germans return the Jews to their former apartments? Did the Germans return the dead? No, they reparated. They looked for accountability. Started reparating, rebuilding Germany. You hear any Germany today talking about the Jewish Holocaust. The Holocaust in Germany is a crime. You mention it on TV, that television will be brought down in media, to be closed. Because they don't think about the Hitler who died 70 years ago. In Africa, we think about Hitler who died 70 years ago, even when Hitler is not our relative. I'm coming today, and soon you'll see me. There is a talent I've hidden. And I waited for this time to finish my job. And the talent comes back. Let's go. You are not a relative of Hitler. You mention Hitler. What happened? You read more of Hitler's history than reading more of your past history. Africa, without a redemption strategy, Africa can never rise and shine again. Africa needs to rule 5 items. The last item on agenda of redemption strategy is healing. When you get the 5, you have healed. Matsanga lost the father. Matsanga lost the wife. Am I not here? Am I not here? Matsanga's relatives were beaten. Am I not here? Don't I eat? Don't I survive? Don't I look after my kids? My kids are, if I had cried more, I would not have looked for my children in the same country where conflict was. Am I not surviving? After healing, you move on. And I'm teaching here. You can go to Angel Gabriel and tell Angel Gabriel that there was a man shouting on TV. It's up to you. It's your problem. If you keep on talking about 70 years of World War II, where will you be? Where will you be? Where will Africa be? Where shall we reinvent the wheel to go back to 70 years and then do what? Events in the world do happen, to take place, to take shape, they do take direction, Miriam, and Eliphaz. But these events shape the destiny of our nations. Have we liberated ourselves? Have we changed our mindsets? Have we looked at what can bring us peace? Do we look at peace, or we look at monetary gains, short term of engaging deals that bring more chaos than peace? Are we the people that God put on planet Earth, on continent of Africa, surrounded by water, only linked by Suez Canal and the Gibraltar Straits? Hello? The teacher wonder must be wondering today, I'm deadly. Hello? Africa is surrounded, joined by Suez Canal. We are surrounded by water. Somebody just penetrated the Suez Canal, extended it to cut us and join us with things we did not like. We are different specimen. That's why our color is even white, not white, but black. Most of it, 3/4 of Africa is black. Hello? Why are we not looking at a redemption strategy? And a student of conflict resolution will tell you that those are the key pillars, the 5 key pillars. The 6th pillar is a healing. Once you have finished that, you have healed. You have healed. Once you have finished that, you have healed. Once you have finished that, you have healed. You don't come back to kill. You don't come back to fight. You don't come back to create violence. You don't come back to abrogate the same principles of the agreement. You don't shift the agreement. Yesterday I was talking about the Northern Ireland agreement. Why it has shifted. Why it is fragile. Because if you miss one tenet, one tenet of the ingredients, one of the ingredients that are supposed to be in a redemption strategy, the agreement will always be fragile. If you mix wrong ingredient in the peace process, in the dialogue that you want, it will never give you the salvation that you want. Ladies and gentlemen, how many countries in Africa, therefore, need this redemption strategy. Almost every country, apart from, not, Miriam, maybe when you come up, you will tell me one of the countries that does not need redemption. In South Africa, people are on the streets. They did the Truth and the Reconciliation Commission, but they are on the streets. The problem might not be as that of Kenya, or as that of Nigeria, or as that of Tunisia, or as that of Algeria, or as that of Khartoum, where people have been on the streets for as long as 3 years now. But or that of Somalia, where the conflict has been. But the cardinal principle of why the conflict, root causes, when all of you went to war, remain until you come out and tell the truth and reconcile, forgive, and account, and then reparate. Call it a day. I land my mic by passing over the gadget to Miriam Ogutu. That's my take. Until we reconcile, until we tell the truth, until we forgive, until we account, until we reparate. You can't tell people whom you have displaced from their homes to be quiet, and then you move on as if you did not displace them. You can't tell the northern Ugandans that time when we hammered an agreement that we should forget. We had to tell the people of northern Uganda, the Acholis, the Langos, the Acholis, the West Nile, the Karamojongs, the Itesots, who had been displaced, marginalized, that we shall reparate. Your cows will be brought back. You will be given 2 cows, 3 cows, 5 cows, 10 cows. Because some cows were carried in railway wagons back to Kampala, to the extent that some cows were even following the owners in Kampala. Hello, is it laughing? Wonder? A cow smells the owner and followed the owner from a railway station on foot. People in the city thought there was madness. The owner is still alive. The cow came to him because people stole the cows, which are short-horned, and brought the cows to a place where there's long horns. So this cow said, this is smell. I can't smell anybody. Makio, I'm the one who has documents. All the documents of Northern Uganda peace process are with this man speaking to you. All of them. All of them. Classified and unclassified. Clips, tapes. This Dr. Matanga was the chairman of the peace process, chief negotiator. So don't tell me that you know more because you are a prime minister or you are what? What? You can have what you have, but you don't have what I have. And I want to thank President Museveni for having seen my brightness and my star, that I negotiated that peace agreement very peacefully, intellectually, delivered, even if the final signing by one side was not available. We implemented it. Hallelujah. Thank you, Miriam. For us Ugandans, you can cry. We don't have democracy. We shoot. We shoot you in the leg. Have you heard me? We don't play too much with you. You people here play too much. We shoot. If there is a problem, we shoot you. Namaliza is part of the democratic dispensation. It's not my problem. Poverty is plenty. It's not my problem. I'm not the president. to alleviate poverty. And I'm not holding you not to go and look for something to do. Our land is fertile. And yes, our land is fertile. Don't wait for President Museveni to come and dig for you. Go and dig. And that is why 82,000 non-combatants and over 40,000 combatants took amnesty, returned to northern Uganda. Is northern Uganda not moving? Go there today. Go there today and see the type of development, the type of digging, construction, the roads, the cities, the buildings that are coming out. Because this man speaking ventured and went through hell to get what we have today. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets because it had defeated so many people. And I want to thank all the stakeholders, including Dr. Riek Machar himself, who has fallen into a conflict today. Dr. Wakana Rukunda, His Excellency President Kisano, His Excellency President Museveni himself, for the first time to agree because he saw an intelligent man on the committee. The rest were telling lies. If you tell lies in a peace process, you have a problem. You don't come back. Those who told lies never came back from that forest. Because you don't tell lies to men who are fighting and then come and tell lies here. God gave guidance. God gave me this hand and the brain. Here I am. The peace process in northern Uganda worked. Let this be put into several videos, short videos of 5 minutes each, that it can teach some people some rules of a redemption strategy, resettlement, and the other 7 other factors. After 5, after 6, there are 7. There are other 2, DDR and the resettlement. Finally, where do you go? What do you want? What can you do? You cannot talk of DRC Congo, that you are going to heal the DRC Congo when you don't have those tenets. When people, commanders of M23, arrive on the table and sit and tell lies and eat your sausages in your hotels in Kenya, and eat and then enjoy our women because they have been in the bush without enjoying women. They enjoy women in Kenya and then they go back. They have told a lie. Hello? Let the world hear me. You have come on table and you have not told people who gives you the guns, and you expect a peace process. You run around in planes that you are solving a peace process. Which peace process are you solving? Hey! I know when Miriam sees it, a point, that is the sign. There is a point there. We are losing it. We don't have a peace process here in DRC Congo. We have lies. There's no peace process there. His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta is my friend. There was a peace process in Ethiopia. That was a genuine peace process. But there's no peace process in Congo. It is just a money-making system that is being created by France and Qatar to put us in a quagmire state while other people come in to borrow money. Yay! Kwenda. You die once. At 68, if I don't tell some people, who's going to tell them? There's no peace process there. The rebels don't tell the truth, Miriam. The presidents don't tell the truth. Those who arm the rebels are not saying the truth. Mr. Tshisekedi himself doesn't say the truth. He's also buying mercenaries in preparation to finish the others. And perhaps the only person going to say the truth is my friend here, Bemba. By the way, I have been in touch with him. That's why I'm speaking. I can go. They are friends I helped. They are friends I helped. They are friends I have helped in ICC, in this Africa. Not all of them will forget about me. But one day, you might also think back. I want to thank the Vice President of the DRC Congo and the Minister of Defense that our discussion was very excellent. Continue on that path towards telling the truth. We must tell the truth for this peace process to go on and be conclusive. Less than that, don't waste people's money, little money that we have in this world. Just, you know, it's better. Don't go to the table when you have nothing to offer. You are offering lies and hot air and your gas that comes out of your body. You even fill our hotels with filth. Going to the toilet all the time. I'm a rebel commander. What have you offered? I'm a rebel commander. Unatupatia nini? You came to buy things from Nakumat. You have come to buy things from Carrefour, to carry them to Congo forest, to go and kill more people. Then you say you're a rebel commander. You have come for peace. What peace? Ukweli ambiwe. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa needs, for Africa to move, we can't save Africa if we use a redemption strategy. Everybody, everywhere in Africa seem to be upset with something, someone, somewhere. Isn't that a good conclusion, Miriam? Miriam might not be telling you, he might also be upset quietly with me. Everybody. Wanda might be upset with me. Miriam might look like the way she looks, but she's not happy. So we needed to bring out and say, but ask Miriam, what is going on, my dear? Please, if I wronged you here, forgive me. She might not be telling me, and until you open her up and say, please, I am opening my heart, tell me. That is a redemption strategy. Everybody, everywhere, somewhere, even in the house, your wife, even if you bring the best cloth, she has a grudge somewhere with you. Where did you get that perfume? You are smelling differently. These are things. I'm sorry, Miriam and Wanda, I have to touch this so that people can know. Even your own child, there will be a grudge. Your own person, your own worker, your own house girl will have a grudge. Because you have nothing, you have something which she doesn't have. But she doesn't tell you. She waits until it accumulates to a level. Then you say, but sir, this is too much. I don't have this. And you have it. Then you say, why didn't you tell me before we share? Truth and truth and truth telling is the only way that can resolve conflict. I'm sure Miriam and Wanda, you have a lot of experiences in your own country. You can mention them without pinpointing particularly, but I'm sure one of the factors that disintegrates Africa and one of the factors that can bring back Africa is a redemption strategy. Is a redemption strategy that can bring back Libya until the Libyans of Benghazi say, let's talk with the Libyans of Tripoli. This cannot be in Libya. We had a geographical setup of Libya We can't rule it out. 1884, Libya was cut the way it was. We cannot change it. But we cannot keep on talking about 1884, 1884. We have moved. We have moved. We have moved. Africa has moved. Thank you very much. I land the mic.
All right.
Miriam, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Wanda, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Miriam.
Okay, good to have you on the show. I'm sure you were listening, and I don't know what points you picked there, and what would you like to add on top of what has been said already?
Indeed, today Dr. nailed quite a number. I almost called him professor today and not a doctor, because when you look at a country like South Africa, then you look at someone like Malema, then you go back to the points that Doctor has highlighted or explained in details. You can clearly point out and say, Malema went through the process, but never forgave. He's still holding on that he went through the process, but he never healed. At times when you listen to him speak, he'll openly tell our brothers from the other race that I'll become the president and I'll be in charge of your affairs. He'll always want to remind people of what happened. You also go back to a country like Rwanda, the 1994, and the conflict that is happening today in the DRC Congo. It is a story of people never healed. That yes, they might have underwent through the process of the redemption process. But the reason why the Eastern bit, because you'll hear of a rebel group that was directly involved in this conflict in the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. But the Rwandan government will always be in serious conflict with the military of DRC Congo. Whenever they have a feeling like they are working with that rebel group that was directly involved in the 1994 genocide, in the sense that there is that aspect of forgiving and reconciling or healing that our people have never experienced. Therefore, when you go still into the redemption in it, buying back your souls, going back to your former ways of doing things, at least you go back to the drawing board, you look into where the rains started beating you then, you might not do away with it because the rains have already beaten you, but you now chart your new way as you move forward. It is exactly what Africans need. That you look into our politics, the political conflicts that we tend to have. Then you trace back where the causes of these conflicts. Then it is a case of people should sit down, like what happened when we had the handshake. The two brothers had to sit down. They had to agree probably that I'm where I am because of this, and this. My people feels sidelined. My people are isolated. I feel isolated. This government, probably the winner takes it all, is isolating other persons. Therefore, let us be truthful. Let us face the reality. And in one way or the other, in their way of going back into buying their souls, into what so many of us called as handshake, the country the country experienced some peace. People could now easily move from one point to the other point. Therefore, what Africa needs today, buying into a number of examples, and it is a terrible mistake if this redemption strategy will skip a process. The xenophobic attacks that we tend to face in South Africa is because some steps were skipped. And if you skip a step, then you're only making this person look at the damage, then hold on the damage, then they'll not move. This person will always live in anger. Therefore, it's the same problem that we tend to face in South Africa in the name of xenophobia. You come into Kenya, the reasons why after every 5 years we have a problem with our politics, it's because of, we are holding on the failures that we keep, we keep having any other time we have elections. Therefore, for us to be able to move on, then people need to go back. People need to have a redemption strategy. They need to buy back their souls. They need to go back to the former days. But going back to the former days, you need to agree that we are not doing well because you are doing this. We are not doing well because this and this has happened. But not a case of we have the reconciliation teams coming on the table, having the reports written and so many things, then those reports are filed. It's only a case of you're reminding these persons the challenges that they are having. You're only showing this person that this wound is serious, it's hurting you, but you don't provide a solution to it. In this case, you're even killing this person psychological-wise, in the sense that you're now making this person see death approaching. Therefore, for Africa to move on and address poor governance, address corruption, address poor management of elections, which I tend to call the Western elections, because the kind of elections that we have are not African elections, but I believe they are Western elections. Addressing the violation of human rights. You look into countries like South Sudan, you look into the country of Dr. Masanga, at times people are killed. At times, the government, the opposition, they're always in a conflict. They'll always want to fight each other. They'll always want to, it's like a manhunting. You want to even go an extent of hurting the supporters of the opposing team, the marginalization. All these can only be addressed if we go back to the redemption strategy, which to me is buying back your souls, buying back your morals as Africans. That if we go back to the drawing board and buy back our souls and buy back our morals, look into it and probably ask ourselves, when did this start? And when were you not experiencing this? So what should we then do? Yes, ulinikosea, mimi nilikukosea, then let us forgive each other. But as we forgive each other, we just leave it at that point. You have told me the truth, I did this, I've equally told you what I did. We are now trying to get together, we are reconciling in the sense that we are forgiving each other. Then how do we ensure that that is maintained? Let us craft the systems that will ensure that whenever we want to go back, people are held responsible. But if we have the redemption strategy and we don't want to craft rules and stick to the very rules that will hold people responsible, then we are likely to go back again. Like if today Ethiopians are not careful, the Amharans are going to come back. Or the Tigray we left the Tigray, then the Amharans are going to come back. In the sense that let us adopt the redemption strategy. And in adopting the redemption strategies, let us craft rules, come up with mechanisms, measures, then strictly adhere to them. Not a case of what is so good in Africa. Rules are made by people to be broken by people. That's a good, it's a common statement in Africa that we make rules to break the rules. So let us come up, craft a system, a structure that after going through the redemption strategy, we have now healed. We can now sit on the table. You don't draw back these people to the former days, because some persons will tell you, I've forgiven you, but I've not forgotten. So let us not make them remember and want to redo it again. Let us make each other forgive each other, then craft measures so that if someone wants to draw us back, the measures becomes like a sword that cuts on both ends. Then in so doing, we'll have a society that is now ready to move, propel, and realize its potentials. It is so bad to be in a continent that is perceived the richest in the world, but the ironical, the poorest. It's only poor because the redemption strategy is not working, and measures to implement the after effecting the redemption strategy is not there. It's a case of we make the rules, we make the policies as humans to break them, then make others again. Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much, there, Wanda, for your sentiments this afternoon. Doc. Okay, I don't know if Dr. Matsanga can...
Miriam,
yes.
We want to hear your sentiments also. You haven't given us your sentiments. I have given mine, my views of what I see Africa today, and what Wanda has given his views as he sees Africa. You wind it up by giving your views, then we close. We've done our best.
All right, thank you so much. And I think in reference to some of the conflicts that we've been seeing going on in Africa, some of which mediation processes have been successful, others we seem to be locked in a deadlock, like that one in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think every conflict has its, there's no one yardstick and one way approach to solution to these conflicts, because they all have different undertones. What inspired the conflict in Ethiopia is completely different from what inspired the conflict in the has inspired the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the sense that the issues that are being agitated for, the actors that are involved in this conflict, they're completely different. And I think also that is why we were able to find a quick resolution in Ethiopia, which I think while you were underpinning some of the key important steps that should be taken for the redemption strategy, and one of which is accountability. But accountability doesn't usually comprise of somebody being charged in a court and all that. We can see what happened in Rwanda after the 1994 genocide, and some of the steps that were taken. They formed this court that was suited for the conditions and the situation in Rwanda, and that was able to be very effective. There are some people who decided to just confess and they were forgiven and all that. Others, a few others were taken to court and they're serving time and all that. So I think every conflict has its own uniqueness and should have a very unique approach that is based upon the prevailing conditions and the issues that have even enabled that conflict to occur. Having said that, I think there's a conflict that I've always made reference to. I'll leave the DRC conflict for right now, but perhaps a quote, make reference to the Ethiopian conflict and the resolution and some of the progress that is being made, which I think is really, really encouraging to see. And I think one of the key things that we get from the Ethiopian conflict is that both sides, the intentions were the same when they were going to this table. And the intentions was to bring back their country. The intentions was to address the issue that was causing disunity. The intentions were, they were on the same page as far as the intentions is concerned. And I think I was castigating the government of Ethiopia so much because it seems to be closing all the avenues of accountability. There was a UN process that had started. I think the country voted to stop that, to abort that process, because when you look at how far and what they've been able to do, perhaps that would have disrupted the process, the peace process. And I think they have chosen the restorative justice, and that is where you rebuild and you try to correct the harm and address the harm that was caused during the conflict without necessarily taking somebody to court. Because if we could go for, all right, fine, now Ethiopia, we are demanding for accountability. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the buck stops with you. TPLF leaders, the buck stops with you, and the other players, and now we have to hold them to the ICC, because what happened in Ethiopia really meets meets the threshold for a case to be started in the ICC. But is that always the right solution and always the right approach that can bring a lasting, solution to a conflict moving forward? So it appears the route that they have taken as a country, and I like that they have taken over this process, the Ethiopian government, the TPLF and other smaller players. Of course, Amara is a separate and different problem they are brewing right now that I really would hope that the Ethiopian government learned from the other conflict and would not want this to go out of control. But I like that they owned this process now, and they've kept people like the US and others outside of this process, and they're steering this process forward. And that's why we are seeing this progress that is being made. So the accountability that we might be looking for in Ethiopia, you might not get it, but they seem to have localized their kind of accountability and the kind of strategy that feels will move Ethiopia forward. Of course, the people that died and the people who are still suffering from the trauma that was caused and the loss of property and the loss of lives. That is something that has to be addressed, but it has to be done in a way that captures the mood in the country and captures the intentions in the country that can move Ethiopia forward. Because sometimes this court process, these other means of finding accountability, sometimes they can be counterproductive if you truly want people to move forward. But at the end of the day, we'd like to see that. But how and what that looks like should be in a way that will not regress back the progress that is being made, but also for the people who are affected will feel like, as much as I can't get my husband back, my wife back, the house that was destroyed, but I feel like my issues have been acknowledged, my voice has been heard. I can now be able to forgive and move forward, because we can't really ignore that. There cannot be justice without forgiveness and without that openness. So I think that is what I wanted to say. But I think intentions is very key. Intentions for every actors and every party coming into a negotiating table. So I think that's really, really important. You're muted. Can't really get you.
Intentions zero up to truth telling. There is no other route other than truth telling. If you don't tell the truth, whatever intentions you have, then the peace process won't come out. There are two things that I want us in summary to look at. What is the end game of resolving a conflict? Is peace. There's no conflict that you have resolved if it doesn't bring peace. Whether Ethiopia, whether Congo, whether Uganda, whether Kenya, whether what. In Kenya, 2008, you tried, and you left one component. It doesn't matter the root cause. It is a conflict. Whether it started with knives, two women stabbing each other, or a woman setting herself on fire in Tunisia. Let's widen our scope on Africa. What sparked the uprising in Tunisia? A hawker set himself on fire, killed himself. An uprising took place. A conflict can arise. Root causes of the conflict can be very many. But the end result must always end up in peace. If it doesn't end up in peace, then the conflict is not over. That is the bottom line of what they call a redemption strategy. You can ask anybody, go and ask the professors who invented this. You cannot change somewhere. Whether you bring alternative means of justice, restorative justice, retributive justice. The answer, whether you are using retributive justice, it must end that retributive justice does not give you another conflict. That's it. If you use restorative justice in Rwanda, which was restorative, they have not got any other conflict. But still, they had another person out. The Interahamwe in Congo don't agree with Kachacha courts. And those who did not agree are the ones in Congo who went and again rebranded a new conflict that we see growing up in Congo. In Congo, for example, the conflict is huge. It's not a smaller conflict. These are international conflict, intra-system, intra-conflict.
Intra-states, yeah, because many states are involved.
Intrastate conflict within the states, not intrastate, intra-conflict, where one state or one province says, I don't like you. You are Bandamulenge, you are told you have long nose, don't come near me. The other one is saying, no, we are not involved. We have no share. You are taking diamonds from Ngoma, but we don't have a road. So, unless all those, Miriam, my point here is, unless we have all of these coming with their intention, the intentions are different. But at the end of the day, if you have agreed to be on table, you get my point. Those intentions, you must leave them in your kitchen. Because if you continue harboring them, when you have already agreed to come on the table, Miriam, you don't have a peace agreement.
You probably missed my point.
The Ethiopian thing that you have just...
Sorry, Doug. What I meant by intention is, if you're coming with one party is coming with an intention of ending that conflict, and the other side is coming with an intention of not ending that conflict, so that will be a problem. So the intentions have to be in harmony. That is what I meant by intentions.
Yeah, that is why those intentions in a conflict resolution redemption strategy, they are called truth telling. Truth. Miriam, look at how much money we have wasted on the rebels. The rebels fly into Kenya. You know yourself. You're a taxpayer. You are the one paying for this money. You didn't know? They come and sit in those good hotels. And after 2 weeks, they sleep in a hotel where some of us have never slept. They even served by breakfast, by what? But they are not telling us their intention. Look, you are right. Their intention is very different from what the mediators want. The mediators want to hear, who is arming you? Have you not seen that this process of Congo is slowly, Miriam, slowly being forgotten again? You can see statements coming out that some countries in Africa want to balkanize Congo. Have you seen that statement somewhere? You saw that in Africa Report, that balkanization of Congo is starting with Kenya and East African states, then Angola. They are balkanizing Congo. There is a section of Congolese saying that, and you can hear it very loud and clear. Why? The truth has never been told. At the center, there is nobody telling the truth in this. The leaders that surround the Congo conflict are 9 countries. Out of 9, I'm telling you, there might be half a person telling the truth. Sorry to say that, most of the leaders are not telling the truth. They can even laugh with you and say, no, the rebels, you are killing too many people, and we want you to have a ceasefire. And in the evening, they tell their army commanders to allow the guns to go and kill those people. Again, so what is going on? That is what we say. Intentions, you are right, they come. Some don't want to finish. Some want to finish. But at the end of the day, Miriam and Eliphas, it is the outcome. What is the main outcome of a redemption strategy? if you have got the redemption strategy, are you not peaceful? Give an example of a redemption strategy. Was your BBI? You remember that? Today, you are doing it piecemeal, I hear, because I'm not part of it and I'm not there. You hear now people coming back on the same issue. But because we did not understand, and this is not only BBI, from 2013, after Kenya 2015, after ICC left Kenya, all cases were dropped. You should have embarked on a redemption strategy. Miriam, there were people who were very happy when they wanted in 2010 to make sure that Uhuru Kenyatta, the William Ruto, the current president, His Excellency William Ruto, and His Excellency the former president, they don't come back to eat food in their houses. Am I wrong, Wanda? They wanted them jailed. You mean those people have died, all of them? You, niambie. Have they died? If you find one who has died, he has gone openly, but there are very many, millions. They are hidden in this thing, election, which is a circle, which is going on up to today. It's going on. You will never finish it. That hatred is there. Until you do a Gacaca court style, where the big killers have come back to live together with the killed. Miriam, that is the only time we have seen successfully. In Colombia and in northern Uganda and South Africa now, but it is now exploding, and Rwanda and Northern Ireland. But it is becoming fragile. Where the man who said, look here, Miriam, he said, I planted a bomb in Brighton Center to kill all of you. But I'm here. Forgive me. Tell me. Maybe I have not seen, my eyes were blind in Kenya media. Is there anybody who has said this? We are keeping hatred. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity this morning. That's the much I can say. There's nothing, unless Wanda has something that tickling him at the moment, he can say so. But mine, I think, I know if there's one who has come and said, where, look here, mimi nilikukata, I raped your wife. Yeah? Where? You know, that time, I raped your wife, nilikata mguu kwa kichwa, nilikata hii, nilichukua hii. People have not, in South Africa, the guys came up and said, I was the head of intelligence. I killed people. And I imprisoned you because the government wanted peace. I'm sorry, forgive me. He just died last year. Ian Smith shook hands with Mugabe and told Mugabe, I was fighting you because you are a rebel. But now you are not a rebel. You are now in the government. I'll respect you. Forgive me. Ian Smith died peacefully. Have you seen the grave of Ian Smith being removed from Zimbabwe? With all the madness, where was Ian Smith buried? In Zimbabwe. In fact, his compound is guarded today. One day when you go there, just tell people you want to go to Ian Smith's home. You'll find black soldiers, well commando unit, guarding the compound. Sasa wewe huko hapa Afrika unaweza kupiga panga bure. You say you are in demonstration. Have you seen? Ian Smith is guarded. The tomb. is guarded by commandos paid by the government of Zimbabwe. That's the type of reconciliation. Both are in South Africa. The last apartheid guy, de Klerk, just died. Go to Cape Town and see how his grave is guarded, his home. South African black commandos. You can't even take one iron sheet. You'll even be shot more bullets than the thief who killed than the man who set fire on Stephen Biko. I rest my case, Wanda. And as we finish.
I don't think I have even a comma or a full stop to add, because I'll be diluting the message. It's so clear that let our people embrace the redemption strategy.
Exactly.
Follow through the process, and then the continent will heal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. You added a lot of examples, especially Ethiopia, which exactly gave us the hope. At the beginning, we are not happy with the Ethiopian Prime Minister, myself, but later on I ended up loving the way he does his things. He has never gone back to fight. And by the way, he appointed my younger man, my friend, the current Prime Minister of Eritrea, the man who was even giving me more information about the peace process. So these are things. It means they have healed. There is a healing process. There might be a few buttons, but here, in some parts in Africa, surely, every time there is new anger, it is beginning. What is this? A good place, good places in Africa where people could even, where you could put your legs like this and sleep. And the people say, hey, do you know that it is coming to midnight? You are still on the beach. We want to spoil Africa. Africa has got beaches, but it doesn't have peace. Under those beaches, there is a lot of turmoil. That's the turmoil. That is the reconciliation. That's the truth. That's accountability. That is reparations we need to happen. If we do that, we shall do what we call healing. If we heal, even Chinese will give us money and the right of our loans. Honestly, if you are united and tell Chinese, please, 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 without, if you now tell, if Chinese now stand up and say, we have cancelled your loan, some members of opposition in Africa will go on the streets. Wanda, am I wrong, Miriam? They will go on the streets to say, this money is not ours, we didn't see it. Let him pay you. I'm telling you, they will say, no, that money we did not get it, don't cancel it. Didn't they call for sanctions for Zimbabwe? Where are we today? They thought sanctions will hurt Mugabe. Mugabe is dead. But they are hurting their sons and their daughters. Good afternoon. Thank you.